Hey guys, Chris here for Project Nerf, and today we're going to do a step-by-step mod guide on a Vortex Nitron. We had a request via our website for this one, so without further ado, we're going to get right to it. All right, here we have it, our Vortex Nitron, and we're going to get ready to tear this thing down and do some upgrades to it. We know we're going to replace the pusher motor in it with a 180, get it rewired completely, heavier switches, upgrade it to 18 gauge silicon insulated wiring and a 3S light bulb. So without further ado, I'm going to get this thing apart. I'll get back to you. Okay, as you can see, we've got it all opened up here. 10,000 screws later. Hasbro was so kind to put so many in here. And it's pertinent to say that the first things that you'll have to do, of course, is remove your battery door, any accessories you have, your magazine, and then the front muzzle. Okay, that would be up here. This would slide on over top of the shell like that, and the very front part of it comes off in two pieces. So that has to come off before you can remove the other half of the shell. Remember that, very important. I'm looking at the inside of this thing. It's quite a mess going on in there. So we're going to be getting rid of pretty much all of this junk. There are so many locks and electronic switches and things like that that we just don't need to make this thing run pretty well. So I'm going to get this thing gutted, and I'll get back to you. All right, as you can see, we've got this shell all the way opened up and all the guts out. A couple of things I want to point out to you real quick. The shell, once you've opened up this side of it, it's actually a 4-piece shell. So to get the assembly out of it, you have to take the screws out here, here, there's a little orange one in there. There's one here underneath a switch. So you'll have to take the switch out. Okay, and then this separates like that. It will also do it on the other side of the shell. See if I can get you in here and get you focused. Those two have to come out. And those two would have to come out, and then this half of the shell will also come off at the front. And the only thing I've left in here is just the mag release levers. So let's put all that aside here for a minute. Be a great shell to paint. As you can see, the entire guts of this thing come out as one unit. Now, we are going to get rid of all of this electrical BS here. There's a couple of locks under here that tell it there's a disc in it. We're going to get rid of those. So yeah, we've got a lot of cutting and rewiring to do. You can see our main drive motor here. It's only one in a Nitron. It's a single flywheel. And we have to flip over all the way back here. Here is our pusher motor. So we're going to get that replaced and taken care of. I'm going to start getting rid of this wiring, and I'll get right back to you. All right. As you can see, we've now got everything apart. We've got the crappy electronics there out in pretty much one unit, so no problems there. Wasn't even too many wires to cut. So let's discuss a couple of things here real quick. This orange tab right here actually covers this rod, which is actually your pusher rod on the battery tray. I put the screws back in it so I wouldn't lose them. They're very small and they're of a different size, but that will separate the unit itself from the battery tray. Okay, as you can see here, here's our main drive motor. And again, our pusher motor. And that looks to be a pretty healthy pusher motor to me, or flywheel motor rather. Up here, we had our two locks, the switches. See if I can get a hold of those for you. Here they are. That just went in here like that. You can have it facing the right way. There you go. And there was a very, very small, I don't know if I can even get the camera to focus on it. There we go. A little pin here and here, but this hinged on and jumped up and down like that. Just pull those pins out, take this gray piece off real quick and pull the electronic switches out. There's no need to put those mechanical locks back in there. You don't need them. So we're going to take a look at replacing our motors. And as soon as we do that and start rewiring it, I'll get back to you. Okay, we've gotten into this thing, and the stock motor on it, while beastie, I don't know exactly what size it is. It's still inside its case there. I elected to replace it, and what we did is replaced it with this big Duratrax VR3 380 motor. Didn't take too many modifications to the shell and casing to install that motor. I've got it hooked up to my jumper box. We're going to turn that on just so you can hear this thing go. It's this thing is going to be just scary. All right, guys, here we go. 1, 2, 3. So that is going to be awesome. And let me get this unhooked here for you real quick. In here, okay, there were 2 little nubs that stuck up so high that the screws came down through, pushing the stock motor that way a bit. And in the position it was, the shaft was the same length as this motor is, flush. So I ground those nubs down, drilled the hole larger to accept the hub of our bigger motor, and screwed it in. Disclaimer, 380 motors have a 2.5 millimeter motor shaft and not a 2, so you will have to hone out the inside of your flywheel ever so slightly to get it to fit on the shaft for this motor. Okay, you can see we got the gear case opened up here, and we've taken the liberty of getting rid of that crappy stock motor for a pretty healthy 180 there. Now, instead of making shims and all this stuff, I've seen people do this before, we simply screwed ours in right through the holes that were already there with our 2 millimeter by 0.4 millimeter metric machine screws. Put the gear back on. We're going to reassemble the case, put this thing back together, and get it wired up. Now that all our motors are swapped, we're just about there. Right, as you can see, we've finished our Nitron mod here. Pretty simple black paint job, little white accenting here. It sounds just killer with our 380 motor in it. And I'm going to do a little firing demo for you guys. Disclaimer, this could get a little bit loud. Okay, guys. Hope you liked our Nitron mod. This is Chris for Project Nerf, saying until next time, have a blast.